Hey, Roger Martin again from Billings, Montana. Good day. This is, of course, Ted Cruz and Judge Jeanine Pirro. And there's a very important statement in here by Ted Cruz and his podcast and how it's growing, plus also the demand of where he's coming from the Senate and what he thinks is going to happen. We'll see how accurate he is on his prediction of what he thinks is going to happen in the Senate. I hope he's accurate so this ends quickly. But if not, this is going to be drawn out for weeks or months.
Thursday that the president's team had an opportunity to kind of lay out what it is they intend to prove. Right. You've been in many courtrooms. What did it feel like today? How is it different after months and months of he's abused power, he's done this, he thinks he's a dictator?
Well, look, I think it was gratifying that, number one, it was the first time the president his legal team has had to defend him. Throughout this whole proceeding in the House, they wouldn't let the president defend himself. Finally, today, we got that. Secondly, I think every senator is grateful that the never-ending opening argument, the 24 hours of nonstop from the House managers is over. As their closing argument ended last night, my sense, and I think the sense of a lot of people, is they failed to prove their case. Today, the president's lawyers, I think, did an effective job of pointing out just how selective their quotations were from the record, how much they left out. And I got to tell you, what I'm really looking forward to is Monday. On Monday, starting at 1 p.m., we're going to come back for the trial, and the president's lawyers are going to present the principal defense. And what I really hope to hear from them is a substantive defense on the merits that lays out the case on the facts for the president's innocence. And listen, I think the House managers made a critical mistake in how they structured their argument, because a central element of their argument is the proposition that it was baseless, that it was frivolous to want to investigate Burisma, the Ukrainian natural gas company, and whether or not Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, remember they were paying Hunter Biden $1 million a year,
that's right,
and Joe Biden pressured Ukraine, threatened $1 billion in aid to force Ukraine to fire the prosecutor who was investigating Burisma, the company that was paying Hunter.
But how does this trial resolve any of that? This is really about one defendant, and I hate even referring to him as that.
So I'll tell you how it does. The House managers laid out the proposition that it was baseless, that it was fraudulent, that it was phony, that there was no basis whatsoever for seeking an investigation into Burisma. The complete and total answer is there was overwhelming evidence of corruption, and a president is always justified, in fact has a responsibility to investigate corruption. The fundamental argument that disposes of this case, that makes clear the president did nothing that is impeachable, is he has the authority to investigate corruption. And the House managers, they've opened the door to Hunter Biden testifying, and they've made his testimony not only relevant, but critical.
Okay, so let's talk about one of the things that I thought was very important that might lead to a motion to dismiss. I want your opinion. They basically said that the charge, the second article of obstruction, is not based in anything substantive because the House and Nancy Pelosi announcing we're going to begin this impeachment investigation had no jurisdictional authority to grant subpoenas. And therefore, if the president didn't abide by the subpoenas, it's not obstruction. There has to be a vote of the House.
So that's certainly a legal argument that the president's lawyers are putting forth. They put it forth in their brief. I think the obstruction charge is really secondary to the House manager's case. This case rises or falls.
But it's one article of impeachment.
It is. I don't think you'll see a motion to dismiss. I think the way things will play out, we'll see the president's opening argument continue on Monday and maybe Tuesday. Then we will have 16 hours of questions from senators. Now, those questions, we can't ask them ourselves, unfortunately. I would love to go round and round with Adam Schiff, but the Senate rules don't allow it. Instead, we've got to write our questions, and the Chief Justice will ask the questions for us. What I expect to see then, right after that, we're going to vote on whether additional witnesses are necessary and whether they're in order. That may be a close vote. We know that all 47 Democrats are going to vote yes.
Right.
There might be 4 Republicans who vote with them. I don't know.
Right. And those 4 being Romney and Susan Collins and Murkowski and who? Lamar?
Possibly.
Yeah, that's the talk. That's the rumor.
I don't think there's any need for additional witnesses. I think we have more than enough to reject these articles on the merits because they haven't proven their case.
And they're in the motion to dismiss.
but I don't think it'll be a motion to dismiss.
What will it be?
It will be initially a vote on witnesses. If
Right.
we vote no additional witnesses are
Right.
necessary, I think the next vote you'll see is a motion to proceed to final judgment. Rather than dismiss the case, I think we will go to
A motion to go to judgment, not dismissal. And this is critically important because they didn't lay out the evidence they needed to criminally and legally. And so it should go to vote it for not dismissal, but what's he say here? Get the right term here.
Rather than dismiss the case, I think we will go to judgment and we will acquit the president, which means
Judgment and acquit the president.
we'll stand up and vote guilty or not guilty on each of the articles. I think it's a much better outcome for the president and the country for him to be acquitted, not dismiss and throw the case out, but reach final judgment and find the president not guilty. That's going to be the end of this because the House managers haven't met the constitutional standard of proving high crimes or misdemeanors. The president has the authority to investigate serious allegations of corruption. There were massive allegations of corruption. There was at least enough evidence to justify an investigation.
But in the end, how long do you think this is going to take? I know you talk about the witnesses taking time if that vote's a long one.
So there's a fork in the road. If next week 51 senators vote we don't need additional witnesses, this will end next week.
Okay.
If not, if 51 senators say we need additional witnesses, now I've led the fight to say if that happens, we've got to be fair. We've got to follow the principle of reciprocity, which means if they get John Bolton, we get Hunter Biden. If we go down the road to witnesses, this could take weeks or even months longer. But at the end of the day, the result's going to be the same. And look, what I'm doing every day when I leave the trial is I'm going and I'm filming a podcast called Verdict with Ted Cruz. I filmed it like the first night, filmed it at 3 in the morning because that's when we were done.
Yeah.
Just talking about in a detailed form the facts, the substance, and the constitutional law issues at stake. I got to tell you, it's crazy. I've never done a podcast before.
Yeah.
In 4 days, we've become the #2 podcast in the country.
Well, first of all, congratulations. And secondly, this is your wheelhouse. I mean, I was in there today. I was so excited. I was afraid I was going to fall over the railing. But you know, I hear people falling asleep, and I say to myself, how could you fall? It's exciting stuff. But anyway, Senator Cruz, it's exciting having you on Justice. Thank you. I hope that you'll be on again soon.
Appreciate it.
And congratulations. And the Senator's podcast went to #1 as soon as we finished that interview. See, I'm good luck for him.
Very cute. Again, this was with Judge Jeanine Pirro and Justice. Really good article. Encourage you to listen to the podcast of Ted Cruz also. Good day.